Ever since I started ex-boyfriend recovery back in 2012, I've been doing war with the scum of the earth. Well, not really. I guess it depends on your perspective. So every single day, I go to either my website or the YouTube channel and navigate to the comments section, and I am overcome with spam comments like this. Hello, do you need someone to help cast a spell for you? Like love binding, get X-back spells, money spells, and others. I am Chief Adudawai. I am in an origin of Gulrut. You get it. Basically, it's a spam advertisement from either a Nigerian or Indian spellcaster or a special psychic doctor. Oh, and the key crucial piece of information is you can only contact them through WhatsApp. Now, if this sounds familiar, it probably should. Now, it's really annoying. And the worst part is I've actually gone to YouTube and I've blocked words like WhatsApp, Spellcasters, anything revolving around numbers, but YouTube does not give me the ability to block replies to comments. And so that's how they're getting through the cracks. And it's really frustrating because the only way to get rid of these stupid spellcasters is to manually delete them. So today I'd like to look at how the spellcaster scam actually works versus what actually works in a breakup situation. Let's begin. Now, it should go without saying that spellcasters and psychics are all scams. And if you have a problem with that, then you're probably on the wrong YouTube channel. Now, I've always been a little bit familiar with how the spellcaster scam works. So here's a breakdown. To the best of my knowledge, someone claiming to be a spellcaster uses a software or a bot to shotgun their sales pitch all over the web. So the approach is they're hoping to capture an extremely desperate person that will do anything to get their ex back. Of course, once you're caught in their web, they keep escalating things. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna cast a spell, give you some bogus idea or time frame of when it's gonna work, and when it inevitably doesn't work, they're gonna say, well, we need to cast another spell, or better yet, my personal favorite, they'll claim you have dark energy, and in order to fix this dark energy, we need you to pay us $100. And they'll cast another spell, and around and around and around it goes. Now that's the first type of scam, and arguably the most common one that I see. Notice how none of the spell involves bettering yourself. Instead, it involves making you feel bad about your negative energy and paying them to make it better. Let's not talk about the fact that negative energy is just a bunch of BS. Then of course there's the second scam, the psychics. And what's interesting about the psychic scam is how many people seem to give it a pass. And it's kind of interesting to explore why, because most of the time I think when people talk about psychics, there's an embedded understanding that they're not real, it's just a bit of fun. Oh, how fun it will be to go to a psychic. But I know firsthand that these psychics can escalate in very negative ways, and I will give you a real example that happened on our private Facebook support group a few years ago. And it was this incident that caused me to ban all mention of psychics, spellcasters, whatever within the Facebook support group. So here's how it went. A few years ago, there was someone who mentioned that they went out to a psychic and had a lot of fun. Now, I'm very into free speech, so I was kind of like, let's just let it be. I don't believe in that, but people seem to be getting a kick out of it or enjoying it, or this was this person's experience, whatever. It's not harming anyone. Well, fast forward a few weeks later, and I get a message from one of our other members claiming that the original person who posted about the psychic was actually working for the psychic to try to strong-arm people in the Facebook group to go and purchase the psychic services. And here's the kicker. The psychic was guaranteeing that you could get your ex back. Now, anyone who knows me knows that that word is a big no-no. Anytime that anyone in any industry says they can guarantee something for you, it's a blatant lie. But the truth is, that's not even why I dislike these scams. I think any kind of breakup, spell casting, or psychic sort of scam takes away your self-reliance, and that is a huge issue. Now, I believe in the law of effort. You get out what you put in. You want to run longer? Start putting in the work. You want to pass a test in school? Study longer. You want success at work? Work harder. The law of effort has never failed me, or for that matter, anyone who's actually put effort in. Generally speaking, the harder you work at something, the better your results are going to be. But the results don't come overnight. And I think it has to do with a shortcoming or a weird consequence of the way our society is set up. See, our society, more now than ever, has the ability to get instantaneous results. Let's say we're lost on the road, we can't find our way home. How do we find our way home now? We simply pull out our phone, plot in Google Maps, and boom, we find our way back home. Back in the day, that couldn't happen. Think back in 50 years ago when smartphones didn't exist and all you had to get back home was a map. You would have to put in some effort to figure out how to read the map. Here's the point. We now get instant results, and sometimes people have gotten a little too used to that, and it's made us lazy. So even though we begin to put effort in, we kind of lack the discipline to continue putting effort in because we're expecting results quicker than they're actually going to happen. There are some things naturally that there is nothing in the world that can make the results quicker. Getting an ex back, finding career success, love binding, all of the things that these spellcasters and scam artists are things that cannot happen without some effort being put in. But they're preying on that fact and taking away your self-reliance as a result. And the one thing I've learned is that if you want to succeed after a breakup, you need to start relying on yourself. So what is it that actually works after a breakup? Now, it may sound like a broken record here, but I personally believe the most important thing you can do after a breakup is to outgrow your ex. Now, this applies if you want to get them back or if you just simply want to get over them. Now, the first step is always the same. Have enough confidence within that you know for a fact you'll be okay without them. But most of the people that I coach on a daily basis have struggled just getting through a simple no contact period. Most can't last past a week because they don't have the ability to outgrow their ex. And we think this is because a lot of them fall victim to the anxious, preoccupied mindset. Someone who has an anxious, preoccupied mindset, well, their core wound is that they have a fear of being abandoned, and their worst fear just came true. So it causes them to act extremely desperate after a breakup. But desperate behaviors doesn't work to get exes back. In fact, it's the anxious behaviors that actually cause people to fall for the scams that I just mentioned. Here's the truth. You don't need to reach out to a spellcaster or a psychic. Instead, a smarter approach would be to start surrounding yourself with mentors, with professionals. Work on discipline. Have a strong sense of confidence and self-reliance. Get to a place where you don't care about getting your ex back anymore. And one of the reasons I'm really adamant about sharing the success story interviews that I have with my clients online for everyone to dissect is the simple fact that I want to show people what actually works for real people. And one thing, if you have the time and you go through each one of these hour-long interviews, the trend you're going to notice is that most people will say something along the lines like this. Well, it really wasn't until I decided I didn't want my ex back that they came back. It's this weird phenomenon. In other words, they outgrew their ex. Now, obviously, it's a lot more complicated than that. There's more to the process than simply outgrowing their ex. But I think the problem for most people is they're not willing to outgrow their ex because most people want their exes back at one point. And for them, outgrowing an ex is like failing. It's like giving up. But it doesn't have to mean you're giving up. In my view, someone who's outgrown an ex has done nothing more than knock the ex off a pedestal so that they're not viewing their ex as someone that's better than them. They're viewing their ex as someone that's equal to them. Or better yet, viewing their ex as a happy, distant memory. But that doesn't mean you have to give up. It simply means you're willing to lose them, and it makes all the difference in the world. Having that confidence that you're willing to bet on yourself versus betting on your relationship, that's what works. Not the spellcasters, not the psychics, not astrology, self-reliance, the law of effort, outgrowing your ex. These are the things that are going to help you find success in the post-breakup period.